Okay, so we're in 5.3. We're going to be locating real zeros of polynomial functions. This first problem has two parts. The first part says use the rational zero theorem to list all of the potential zeros. Okay, so the way this works is we're going to take our polynomial, which I'm going to write it out as mx, so function of x, and we're giving x cubed minus 6x squared plus 36x minus 216. Okay, so they say that the list of all possible zeros are going to be the factors of p divided by q. Okay, and what we're calling p and q, we're calling the constant term p, and we're calling the leading coefficient q. Okay. So we're going to list all the factors, and it's positive or negative for each one. Positive or negative, the quotient of these two factors. So this is what I want to be doing. 216 divided by all the factors of the leading coefficient is just 1. Okay, so what I have to do is list all the factors of 216. Now you can use technology to speed it up. You can use prime factors and list all the factors. You can just divide it up. It doesn't matter how you do it, just as long as you can list them. Okay, so I'm going to list 1 and 216. And just to speed it up, because I want you guys to be able to list it, I'm going to pull up this calculator here, and I'm going to go to y equal, and I'm going to type in the number on the top that I want to divide up, which is 216, and I'm going to say divide it by x. So x is a variable. It's going to use 1, 2, 3, and several different numbers, and it's going to list all the factors of 216. So I'm looking for whole number pairs, and I'm going to try to list them in order because that helps. Okay, so when I hit second and then graph to see the table, you can divide by 0, but it shows me 1 and 216. Okay, and then 2 and 108, so I'll put those next. So I'll put 2 here, and then over here by 216, I'll put 108. And then the next whole number pair I see is 3 and 72. So I'll put 3 and then 72. We're just working our way back toward the middle. We have 4 and 54. I might not have enough room to list them all. 4 and 54. And then we have 6 and 36. Let me arrow down. How many more we got? A lot of them. 6 and 36. Sorry, should have gave myself some more room. 6, 36. I'll just write them up here. So 7, we won't take that one. It's not a whole number. 8 and 27. Let's say, just gonna write it back here. 8, 27, and then we have 9 and 24. So I'm just kind of writing them off. You can't see them, but I'm writing them off here at the back. And then I'll list them all in order. Okay. And then 12 and 18. I'm writing those off page 12 and 18. And then, okay, so as the numbers get closer and closer together, then we're done. So once we pass this number on the left, that's it. Okay. So what this says is we're going to take all of these numbers and divide by all of these factors. Now, since there's only one, we're only going to list all these whole numbers up here. We don't have to do fractions, but sometimes we will. Okay, so for my list of numbers, it's going to be positive or negative, each one of these numbers that we've written down. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 12, which are off screen, and then going up from there, 18, 24, 27, then 54, no, 36, then 54, 72, 108, and 216. And so they run off the screen. Okay. So you always have to have positive or negative, and you list them in order. So I'm going to list all those here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I missed 9. I have to be careful. 9 and 24. So I missed 9. Let me go back and add that. I missed the number 9 here. You have a 9 right here. I missed 9. Listing them. And then 12. And then 18. 24, 27, 36, 54, 72, 108, and 216. So this is the first part, just listing all the ones that might be zeros. Okay. So I have made an error somewhere. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 7 is not on this list. Why do I have 7 there?
I don't know.
No, 7 is not on the list. Sorry. I got one extra. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 27, 36. That should be okay. Just had an extra number in there. Got to be careful. There's a lot there. I don't know why I have 7, but 7 was not a part of it. Now, that's the first part. List all of them. Now we're going to use polynomial division and the quadratic formula if necessary to find the actual zeros. Okay, so we're going to use synthetic division and to find the actual one. Now, we don't want to go through and try all of these numbers. You got positive -1, positive -2, positive -3, so forth and so on. A lot of numbers to try, okay? So we can try and guess and check, or I would rather you guys kind of use the calculator, and we'll show some methods that if you have to do it by hand a little bit later. But I'm going to go to y equal, and I'm going to type in this whole polynomial, and I'm going to let it show me where it crosses the x-axis, and I'm going to use one of those to guess, and then we'll be able to fill in the rest, okay? So I'm going to type in x cubed, x raised to the third, and then minus 6x squared, and then plus 36x, and then minus 216. So I'm just going to type it in, I'm going to graph it, and I'm going to see if it shows anywhere this graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, so I at least get 1 point, and then after the 1, I can either factor or use quadratic formula. So I'm counting over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the one that I see is 6. Okay, so we're going to say that 6 is one of the zeros, and we're going to verify it by using synthetic division. Okay. So we're saying that x equals 6 is one of our zeros. So using synthetic division, 6 is going to be my box number, which I cannot see. And then I'm going to list my polynomial. So my first leading coefficient was a 1, and then -6, and then 36, and then -216. So what I'm doing is I'm just listing the coefficients on each of these numbers. And that's how I'm getting these. So we're going to just work it with the coefficients. So when you do synthetic division, you always bring the first number straight down. Then we multiply. 6 times 1 gives me 6. Add or subtract because they're different signs, we get 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Add, we get 36. And then 6 times 36 gives us 216. And then when we combine those, we get 0. Okay, so when we write the resulting polynomial, we started out with a cube. Okay, so our problem was a cube. We're dividing off 1x, so now this is starting with squared. So we have 1x squared, we have 0 x's, and then we have a positive 36. So this is my resulting polynomial. So we already know that x equals 6 is one of my zeros. Now we set this equal to 0, and we can solve this by factoring. So if I subtract 36, I get x squared equals -36. And then we take the square root of both sides. We get that x is equal to positive or negative. Now, since we have a negative on the square root, this becomes imaginary. So we're looking at I square root of 36 and then the square root of 36 is 6. So we have 6i, positive or negative 6i. So my three factors are x equals 6, and then we have positive 6i and negative 6i. So these will be our zeros, okay, all three of them. So it says just separate them with a comma, so this time they don't want to do this ordered pairs. So we'll just say 6, comma, 6i, and then comma, negative 6i.